Keep it. Ooh, yeah.
Guess who's back?
We did it. We got to stinking number 10. 10th episode, 10 subscribers. We hit double digits. Thank you. Thank all of you. All 10 of you. And everyone else who's put up with me up to this point. If you're annoyed by me, you're tired of this, well, it's your fault.
Won't stop till we're legend. Won't stop till we're legend.
Keep it. Ooh, yeah.
Guess who's back?
What's what you got?
Hey, so it's great to be back vlogging the life away on a beautiful Friday afternoon as we have here today. As you know, some of you may know, our office is right at the corner of Roby and Quimples. I'm looking out onto Roby right now and how backed up it is right now on a Friday afternoon, as of course it should be, because hey, the weekend is almost here. Hey, what up, Atlantica? Got some random people staring at me through their windows. Fantastic. So as you know, as I made aware at the beginning of this vlog, it's my 10th episode. Wow. Where's the time gone? You know what I'm saying? So I thought it would be suitable for the 10th vlog to actually talk about the tech scene that's happening here in Halifax, as this past week we had our demo camp as hosted by Volta, and it was a lot of fun. And it was also informative and as well as inspiring and awesome to see what the different startups around the city are doing, what kind of products that they're putting out there. It was great to be part of such a great event. Grateful for Volta creating the platform for people to be able to show off their stuff. And I thought, as the 10th vlog episode, why not promote a little bit of Halifax, what's happening on the local scene and the startups here and what companies are doing. I thought it would be an awesome opportunity to do that on the 10th episode. Before we do that, I had to say, IKEA just came to Halifax just a couple weeks ago, and so I did my first lamp, my first IKEA lamp. And look at that beauty. It is all kinds of beautiful. Okay, enough of that. To those who don't know what DemoCamp was a platform for about 10 startups to share what products that they are working on. Out of the 8 that I saw, I wanted to pick the 3 that I think are on their way, doing great things, have a promising future, and really putting our city Halifax on the map in terms of tech startups. Number 3, we are gonna start with Beretta. I thought Beretta was a fantastic little product. The problem with Beretta though is, at least from my understanding, the market is a tad saturated. I must say I love CEOs and entrepreneurs who are, let's just say, a little ambitious and going after something like that, so kudos to them. To Beretta. From my understanding of what they explained at DemoCamp was the fact that they are an app that you can actually input your exercise and training analytics into, and it would actually create a complete and utter workout schedule, a complete workout schedule on its own, and really kind of guide you through your training and process. It's really a great tool for coaches and dealing with their players, and as well as players to be on track with it as well. What I thought was really interesting, the really cool part about it is, say you missed a day of training, the app will actually completely change its schedule accordingly, so it'll help you not to overtrain. It'll change the days slightly just to kind of get you back on track to where you were. So if you missed, sorry, not a day, but if you missed a week of training and things of that nature, it can get you back on track. But again, it was it could, I mean, if it works well and it's executed right, it's gonna do great things. They think they're on their way. I think so too, based on their market, based on their presentation, that they are gonna crank through the saturated market. Because really, it's a technology that they're using, that the fact that it can just kind of auto adjust based on your behavior, I think is huge. Because there's so many training apps out there, so many apps, workout apps per se. But this is the first one I heard that will actually just auto adjust when you are off your schedule or things pop up, such as, even talks about personal appointments, whether it be school or doctors, this, that, the other. It adjusts your schedule for you in terms of where and when you should be training. The product worked from what I've been seeing, in terms of even seeing their customer feedback, that their product is working the way that people are expecting it, which is fantastic. It's always a big part of the battle, is making sure the product works to user expectation, not just the owner's expectation. So that was fantastic as well. I think the only thing for me is, actually, I really wanted to mention what I thought was really cool was the fact that you can try their app out for free without giving a credit card, which on a UX perspective, I think is absolutely fantastic. And also crucial, because there's so many products nowadays, like, as long as you give us your credit card, we won't charge you for the first 30 days, but you're gonna forget about your auto renewal and then we're gonna charge you. And that's kind of annoying. So I like the fact that they give you that option to try out their product, see what they're saying, see if what they're saying is true. And then, hey, by all means, here, charge my credit card after the trial is over. I think it's the most honest way to do things, and it shows that they are not scared about if their product's going to perform or not. They really stand behind it. So congrats to you, Beretta. One outlier is just from a design perspective. I find that the color use was a little harsh, just in terms of the bold colors they use. There's difference between using bold colors that mesh well together, and then there's just bold colors that are they're bold colors. But again, that's something very small that can be fixed. The idea is working, things are functioning, and it seems like they are getting the customers to go with it. So you get number 3 on my list, which means absolutely nothing in this case, but you get number 3 on the Josh Udall list. Good job, Beretta. So number 2 on the list goes to Sight 2020, and that's actually SITE 2020, which is in itself a very fantastic, I gotta stop using the word fantastic, I use that word all the time. It's a very cool product and a really great idea that's addressing a very real need. The task that they are given was to try and figure out, was one thing they wanted to solve, I should say, was the issues that we're having these flaggers on construction sites, right? One has a stop sign on one end, the other has a slow sign on the other, and trying to direct traffic through around construction. And so their idea was, trying to figure out safety for these flaggers, and as well as seeing how they may be able to cut down costs for construction sites and people who run these construction sites, and how to cut down those costs. So these guys thought of the idea of, what if we made those flaggers not people and just made them stoplights? So you take 2 people out and you leave one person at a remote site with a tablet that would direct traffic, because these traffic lights would actually have cameras on them to see if there's enough bunch of people lined up or not, and that they would just control the traffic based on this tablet, which again takes 2 people off of having to stand around at the stop sign, and then just puts one person on a tablet, where they're keeping track on a remote site, so keeping them out of dangers of traffic, possibly being hit by cars and people that aren't paying attention to the road. So that's the idea. The execution, I thought they pulled it off. There's actual construction sites that are using it to this day. It was a very daunting task, and I was there at the genesis of this idea. These guys pitched this in a class that I was at Dow for, it must have been about 2.5 years ago now, close to 3, where I was able to be there for them just starting this idea out, and that was the thing that they were tasked with, was trying to figure out things with law enforcement, bylaws, rules they needed to abide by, making sure that everything fits regulations, not just here in Nova Scotia, but across the country of Canada, and as well as they're trying to get down to the States. And they had to make sure that this product figure all that stuff out and address those things that they could, make business in other parts of the world. And from this point, they've executed well. They have people using their equipment in sites in BC, Ontario, and as well as Newfoundland. which I thought was awesome, great for them. And they're trying to expand down in the States and other parts of Canada. And what they said, if this is true, that their stuff actually fits all the bylaws and things that they need to follow and rules they need to follow all across North America. So they're set. It's all about how much people are willing to take a chance on a product like this, and two, that they're able to get this get this product out and get it made in the factories and things of that nature and get it out with demand if it comes. Awesome idea, amazing execution. They are well on their way to doing something pretty big. I'm sure they're going to tick a lot of people off, because anytime that you're starting to take jobs from people, things get kind of weird. I won't get into that, especially when it comes to politics, but the idea is very interesting. So, Site 2020, you get my number 2 spot. So before we get into the number 1, I wanted to just put an honorable mention out to Green Power Labs. What their idea was a product where someone can go into their system, put in their coordinates for their house, and based on the pitch of their roof, weather around their house, the orientation of the house, they are actually able to bring all those factors in together to figure out if your house is ready for solar power or not. So especially living in the world that we do now, as I'm just going to go on the record, like global warming is a real thing, climate change is a real thing that's upon us at this point. The fact they made a product to make it easier for people to make more educated guesses, or educated decisions, I should say, about how they want to incorporate solar power into their existing home, I thought that was fantastic. And from the demonstration, it seemed to work well, and was pretty straightforward for the most part. So good job to Green Power Labs. But the MVP of the night goes to
What's up, New York City? Recognize your real dawn when you see one. Recognize your real dawn when you see one. Recognize your real dawn when you see one. Recognize your real dawn when you see one.
Was the MC George. Dude, I'm just gonna speak in the first person right now. That was fantastic. I came up and said congrats at the end. You did a great job. I thought George did fantastic with what he was given. You could tell, that was definitely not a source of comfort for him, but he was out of himself, he was easygoing, he really tried to make jokes. As the song said, you need to recognize a real dawn when you see one, and that was George. Too bad the crowd that night didn't recognize it. For whatever reason, the crowd was dead. I thought I was at my grandfather's funeral, but George kept her going. So good for you, George. Great for perseverance. You get my MVP honors of the night, so, which again, costs as much as about a peanut butter jelly sandwich. It's something, I guess. We're going on a number 1 of the night, which shouldn't be a surprise, but to those who aren't in the Halifax scene, who weren't there at DemoCamp, the number 1 spot on my list goes to Swept. So Swept is a business that's built on trying to build a communication bridge between employer and cleaner of different cleaning sites and things of that nature. Swept, I thought, was they're doing well for a very good reason. They really wanted to help cleaners out, help with their job, help them communicate with their employers, and help get them what they need to do their jobs well. What happens is, it's an app. A cleaner can, type in really quickly, hey, we need more paper towels, we need more gloves, we need more this, that, the other, and it would go directly to the employer, and they would get it ordered. They would also, take photos of different spots to let them know how dirty it got, and really just, again, it's a huge communication piece that has now become kind of almost a source of accountability between employer and cleaner, because A, it protects the cleaner, and B, also keeps them accountable to their employer. So it's actually in the best interest of both sides, and so they came out with a product that I really felt like addressed some very real needs that has been overlooked in a lot of areas. So, and that's why they've been successful. So again, that was the idea. The execution, absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's an app that seemed pretty straightforward to use. It got them to where they are. Clearly, they have clients that are making them a good chunk of money, so good for them. But even just the highlights that he shared was great. Just seeing that from a Halifax startup. They're kind of more based in San Francisco now, but good for them. They just came out of a $2.5 million round of funding. So again, congrats to Swept, as well as like hearing how Amazon wants to get in on this. Like, so instead of the cleaner typing back to their boss, we need more X, Y, and Z. Amazon wants to get in there and say, how about you use our dash button instead? And when it's out, you just tap it and it gets ordered and it's coming right to the door. These are just great ideas that these big giant corporations are starting to see that Swept is going to get somewhere. And the other big thing was that Disney went to them for their amusement parks. And saying, with their RFPs that they're putting out, that we don't care what is in your RFP if Swept is not involved in what you're offering us. Which again, super fantastic. Again, a great, again, there it goes again with the word fantastic. Congrats to Swept, congrats to the CEO who's been running that show. Thank you so much for, taking the time to show your product off at DemoCamp. Y'all did great. If you didn't make the top 3 or get a mention, it doesn't mean that you're bad. It's just like everyone who got to present, you got to be on the stage for a reason. It's because your idea is going somewhere. So keep up the great work. Just some are a lot further along than others, and so you just keep working at it year after year. Even if it takes 10 years for your product to come to fruition, keep working at it because it will pay off. Keep working hard and doing great things, as I've been trying to do with this vlog. I've been slacking off a little bit as of late, but that is it. Thank you so much to all those who presented at DemoCamp. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. We will be back next week with some shenanigans to actually celebrate more of this 10th anniversary vlog. Have yourself a good weekend. Thank you for watching. I'm out.